Welcome to July. Hello. Hi there. Welcome to More Travel. Hopefully, if you are into that this summer. If you are, you've come to the right place. Again. Now, if you took the journey on episode 51, you tripping, you are already following the basics. Allegedly. Checking for any COVID and or travel restrictions. Upgrading your license to a real ID. May 3rd, 2023 is the running deadline for that. TSA pre-check, clear, and or global entry. It really depends on your particular travel needs. Some are better than others, but just look into the programs as far as how they'll be beneficial to you. But I explained which ones that I do have and utilize back in that episode. However, this brings me right into the international travel of it all. I'm going to be covering international travel tips specifically today. Go away. Yes, literally, go away. Seamless transition for this is to go right into the Mobile Passport Control app. This is by U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, so I'm speaking directly to my U.S. people. This app enables you to avoid the paper customs declaration form when you're on the plane. You know, the one that the flight attendants will come around and, hey, do you need a form? Get your pens and papers out. They pass it out. It's like that long Scantron-y looking joint, but it's not really a Scantron. It's more so cardstock. Whenever you're touching back down in the U.S., even though you should technically have a pen on your person or at least your carry-on, but let's just assume that, it's in your bag and your bag is out of reach, above your seat. Hopefully, if you made it to your seat in time or somebody didn't steal your spot. But make sure you download the Mobile Passport Control app while you still have access to Wi-Fi. Quick download, pretty seamless and easy. The app's purpose is just digitizing the form, really. You enter all your information as you normally would provide. Name, favorite food, port of arrival, sea or air. Not food, but you get the idea. Basically all the information that you would literally enter on that declaration form. It generates a QR code that you'll then present to the agent along with your passport once you're in customs. And in all my experiences, you're in a different queue from general customs, and it goes by fast. It hasn't taken me more than 10 minutes to get up out of there, and you already know what it is. You beat your bags to the carousel. That's how quick it is. You get the drop of your bags. You first went out the bing, 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 and then, your bags come out. Not that you're that excited to get home, but when you're home, you want to go home. You don't want to be spending all your time in customs. But this will generally save you and your companion's time because you can also include them while you're filling out information on the app, creating a very seamless experience. Worth the time, free, for the free, just built on convenience and basically getting people in and out. Most importantly, check if this is available in your international airport of choice. East Coast, for the most part, you should be okay, but just make sure. I believe it's not covered in all U.S. international airports. I know that's for sure. But just make sure they have a website. I want to say first things first, but we already got into tips right away. However, what you should be doing is making a list in advance. Now, how far in advance is totally up to your discretion. Me, I don't even want to say at minimum I'll start at because that's very pie in the sky. I want to say if I'm looking forward to a trip that is international, 9 times out of 10, I will start planning and plotting list possibly a month out, just so I have my stuff in order. For me, it makes me less likely to forget things, even though sometimes I feel like every time I travel, I at least forget one thing. But the more I plan, the less I needed that thing, if that makes any sense at all. It's like, where your toothbrush? No, that is vital to me. That is not minimal. You know what I mean? Like an extra whatever or something. Not something that was major. And that obviously made my list. But you'll also save time packing. You're not really thinking of, oh, let me stand in front of my closet and plan my outfits and all the rest of that deal. You can kind of itemize everything. Takes me to my next point of accountability, which is nice to have before, during, and after your trip to keep track of everything, even if you're leaving it behind. Brings me to the probably most important point because it's international travel and doing this will cause you a lot of issues. Do not overpack. It sounds so simple and it's like, oh, I'm not going to overpack for a trip, but you tend to pack for trips and think that you need everything because you're not going to be in your home situation for a while. So it's kind of like, oh my God, I have to take everything. Have that piece of comfort or whatever it may be. Don't do that. First, what you need to do is get a decent set of luggage that is durable and lightweight. My favorite is Samsonite, but it might not be yours. Find whatever you like that has a good warranty. This is another reason why I like Samsonite, because they don't play. I feel like I've transitioned almost 100%. I would say everything but like my backpack is hard side luggage, because I mean, that would be kind of awkward. Like that hard side backpack, like, man, what are you doing? What are you carrying? Unless I had that Minions backpack, then you'd probably be mamming me for another reason. But hard side, I like personally because it's very durable. You don't have to worry about stains, absorption, and all the rest of that weird stuff. Even like when it gets scuffs and marks, you can literally take a gum eraser and erase marks and stuff and dings, and it'll remove it for the most part. Also, the hard side, I find that they glide nicely, of course, because they have the spinner wheels, and some will argue spinner wheels take up so much space because they're not integrated into the box. True, but who doesn't want to ride spinners? It's just so much easier. Again, stop packing so much. That way you can enjoy the spinning wheels. But definitely keep in mind the lightweightness of it all. That takes me into specifically the weight of your bags. This also includes your carry-on because some airlines are not as lenient as others. I ain't even gonna name any, but a lot will be petty and weigh your carry-on at the gate if they are overloaded or, anything else happens in a situation where they don't have any more overhead room and you have to stow away your joints. So volunteer as needed. It's, put your bags under there immediately. Which kind of brings me to other points just in case. You definitely want to check the airline's guidance on this specifically. Please don't travel with oversized luggage. Just make it easier on yourself, your back, your limbs, even carrying and wheeling those around all day. It gets heavy. I'm not saying you can't travel with your 2 afforded boxes, which is what we typically get here in the US, but weigh them and make sure they are underweight just in case you have to do any pulling and stuffing and whatever. And that is what I do not like doing at the gate. So for me, out the door, all the luggage should be under. And not by 0.32. And once I get to the airport, it shifts back up. No. Make sure you under, and at least by a pound comfortably. It's okay, you're not missing anything. If that's the case, then we got to reevaluate what's in the box and whatever and distribute weights and all the rest of that stuff. A great tool for packing, and I keep reiterating this and recommending these, are rollable compression bags. Save a lot of space. You do not need a vacuum for the operation. You literally roll them up and take all the air out of the bag. So as far as outfit planning and making sure things are organized, this is another way to keep organized on your trip. Roll everything up. No, it won't be all wrinkled and weird and all the rest of that stuff. Come out pretty nice. Clothes are fresh. Not really exposed to the elements. I mean, it's not like your freaking suitcases are rolling around in dirt all day, but you know what I mean. They're nice protected. Once you open them, pop them open. Very convenient. It's just basically like having an oversized Ziploc, which is probably a bonus that I would recommend, but depends on where you're going. Just, yeah. Put that in your pocket. That's just extra stuff just to have in the lining of your suitcase. I like carrying plastic bags and stuff like that just in case if there is something that I do pick up that either I want to keep separate from everything else, but together. I got Ziplocs and plastic bags. I'm already ready. I'm set. But now, as far as your carry-on, make sure all of your electronics and valuables are in your carry-on, not in your check bag. Yes, I said all of your electronics. Do not be putting batteries and all this other stuff in your check luggage. And you're probably like, but I've done this before. Yes, you can, but you don't want to do that. Let's just say that. So phones, power banks, obviously laptops and things, bring that with you on your carry-on. And also for liquids, just remember the 3-1-1 rule, especially for us here in the US. Just simple guidance. Liquid items shouldn't be any larger than 3.4 ounces, which is 100 milliliters, in your carry-on, and it should fit in a 1-quart size bag. I feel like as long as you put it in a toiletry bag and all of your liquids are in that same bag itself, you're fine. I've never been yelled at for not putting it in a quart size bag, but even if it is in a toiletry bag, just make sure all the liquids are in one place and they're not all over your backpack, to the point where you get pulled for security search due to liquids being everywhere in your bag. So yeah, just put them in one sound place. Even, no spills or any mishaps could happen. Otherwise, if it's bigger than 3.4 ounces, just put it in your check luggage. And please do not think like, there's only like 2 scoops of this cream I got in this moisturizer I have. Don't do that. They're not counting scoops. They're literally counting what's on the case. So if you have something pricey that you still want to use, go ahead and get reusable tubes, tubs, or whatever types of toiletry tools that you need in order to do so. Less mess, less fuss, and you reduce your risk greatly of throwing out pricey items that you do not want to lose. Because a lot of people will be upset. Oh my God, I can't throw this away. But you knew the rules, girl. Why are we doing this? Just throw it in your check luggage. And guess what? Say you did bring that 3.6 ounce tub of moisturizer and you did have to take it to your carrier. You're like, dang, I forgot. Even if it is like 2 scoops to finish, guess what you can do since your check luggage is underweight? You can pop it right in there before you check your bags. Look at that. Now, you can't do that with everything. Don't be coming in here with no industrial sized bottle of Vaseline lotion or nothing, but pack as you need, pack accordingly. In general, we tend to overpack anyway for any occasion where we're going. Just really sit with yourself and be like, am I really going to use this? Am I going to need this? Do I need this size? Make yourself a nice little travel kit that you pull and replace. You could try new products and do your thing with. Make it fun. That way you're more willing to stick to it. Also, just in case something else does happen when you are switching around stuff, if that comes up and you have to switch things around, or even if you have to stow your carry-on bag or suitcase that you were rolling with you, and, there's no overhead space. All we have space is for, the item that you'll be sticking underneath your seat. And you're like, oh, well, I want to keep my backpack. So, of course, after you pull all your medications and everything you may need, as far as like electronics and chargers, plugs, cables, all things like that, make sure if your carry-on does not have a lock built into it, that you carry a small TSA-approved padlock with a key preferably. Weighs nothing, literally can just fit on the zipper as needed. Pop the lock open with the key, boom, you in there, just in case. So you can do that right at the gate if they are pulling carry-ons and not permitting them to go on to the plane anymore. That way, you're prepared, you're ready. Your bags are still secure. Your zipper is not going to fly open under the plane. See, I literally envision pure chaos under the plane as we're flying. I feel like somebody's down there just throwing bags around for no reason, just kicking them. They're not doing that. I know they're not. But just in case, you never know what could happen. Just that extra bit of security. Small padlock won't cost you much. Just make sure it's TSA approved, key lock preferably. Anything else you got, yeah. If it comes with a built-in lock, you're good. You don't need to worry about anything. But I feel like even when you are at that point and they're kind of questioning, do you want to volunteer? You'd be more willing to volunteer. Go ahead and get that free voucher for later. You never know. You never know. Also, kind of guidance along with carry-ons, and if you are a shopper while you travel, keep your duty-free receipts for any items purchased internationally, just in case. Again, I feel like nobody ever pings you for items like this, but if you're buying perfumes and other such goods at these duty-free shops that are well over 3.4 ounces, it's just further proof. But 9 times out of 10, when you are carrying a duty-free bag, nobody's going to bother you. It's just reassurance, just in case, because some airports do have another form of security check-in. Depending on where you're traveling from or where you're traveling to also, you might have to go through another level of security, and that basically just tells them, hey, yeah, I bought this, blah, blah, blah. No muss, no fuss, no arguments, boom. There it is. Receipts. Keep them. I feel like this should be number one, especially if you are traveling internationally. Please don't carry your passport when you're out. And when I mean when you're out, when you are not traveling to from airport in that type of transit situation. If you're going out to a restaurant, you're going sightseeing, I promise you, you do not need your passport. Let me start here. Make a copy, paper, digital, whatever your preferred method is. Both, if you're, feeling it. Keep a copy of the picture in a secured folder on your phone of all forms of ID that you are carrying and financials that you're carrying. No, not banknotes or anything crazy like that. Just literally debit or credit cards that you're carrying with you. Just in case. Because when you lose stuff, panic starts to hit and mind is just gone. Yeah, memory when it comes to certain regularly used resources, but just make it easier on yourself just in case anything is lost. And that way you have a direct copy of it. Here's what it looks like. Front, back, important pages, relevant pages if you're traveling on a visa for any country. Copy that page, obviously, too. Take a picture of that. But yeah, please don't carry them when you're out. You're just asking for like a secondary adventure of you trying to figure out where you misplaced your passport, and that is not something you want to lose. Unless you want to spend your time at the embassy, that's, that is an option. It is there for your use when you are abroad. However, save your time, enjoy yourself on your trip. Don't worry about all that extra. Have some peace of mind. So, yeah, if the hotel or place you're staying at doesn't have a safe or anything, just be very, very mindful as far as how you're carrying and keeping your IDs and financials on you. And don't carry a ridiculous amount of money, please. And then try to haggle. Like, really? It's not gonna work. If you know you're going shopping, you're trying to haggle, plus tip on top, of course, because that's what you do. Don't take the whole bag out. Please don't take the whole bag out. That looks wild. Make sure you have a certain system to where you are, to say this very raw, cutting up your money basically in, denomination that you may use throughout the day, depending on where you're traveling to. But as far as being big ballin' bank over here with the rolls in it, no, please don't do that. Perception of travelers, especially single passport holders of America, you're looked at as, yeah, well off. You're traveling, you're enjoying yourself. Your guard's not as, rigid. Your hair's down. I'm not saying people are watching you, but just be mindful, watch people, and remain vigilant. And also don't be very, paranoid or anything. After saying that, it's easier said than done, right? You're like, what? You just told me to watch my back. Like, you do, but just be smart about team. Of course, let your bank card and financial companies know of any travel that you will be taking. Some have a built-in feature within the app will ask you like the dates and where you'll be going. Some you can just call up. Some will just automatically get it, like, yeah, you're traveling or you bought the tickets on this card, so yeah, we know you're out. Okay, you're good. Just in case you don't want no international declines or high transaction fees, which brings me to this point. Use a credit card that doesn't have any conversion or foreign transaction fees. You at least have one of them. Just look into like the actual details of your cards and anything. But that can also ring up a lot of unnecessary costs and fees when it comes to your trip. And again, that's more money spent in the country that you're going to. And, for that economy. I'm trying to help you out here. You can get your shop on, you get your eat on, and be free and not have to think like, oh my God, what's the conversion rate? Like, nobody has time for that. You just want to enjoy yourself. So on to phone things. Honestly, get a burner or a decent feature phone you don't mind losing. Or, because I know everybody's in a position to where I got two phones. Like, no, some people just don't want that hassle. Or get a ruggedized case for your phone. Basically, what I'm telling you is make your phone look ugly as possible. Even if you have the latest and greatest model. You don't want to be a mark out here, right? You'll be like, oh, she got that thick phone. Like, yeah, all right, sure. Meanwhile, under all of this is a phone that is greatness. But yeah, honestly, if you can, depending on how long you're traveling to, you might not want to get a burner, but essentially you're going to want a phone that is GSM with a SIM slot, just in case. I know here we're starting to move to like the digital SIMs, but a lot of places still have mini and micro SIMs. So you still want, again, options just in case they have to cut your SIM card down while you're there or put the adapter on to make it bigger. So you know what? You want options while you're out. You don't want to be out here or under the gun at the shop like I don't have a phone that is compatible with this and you got to buy one and who wants to do all that? Just be prepared. Make sure your phone is GSM compatible and you will be good. Personally, I wouldn't recommend international plans. It also depends on what country you are traveling to. A lot of rates are more friendly in certain countries than others, but just make sure you check that out with your phone carrier before thinking you're going to call Mars when you are in Europe. The cost, again, could be higher than what you expected or anticipated. Just keep it simple. Get yourself a nice little data plan over there. Get your WhatsApp, get your Googles. You know the messengers. Come on, I don't have to give you all this extra juice. You know what it is. Just on a normal basis, just so you can have access just in case to your voicemail if you are that eager. But you have a phone. You have a lawyer. Science and Kirk. Internationally, I don't know how useful they would be, but the commercial, I had to complete it. Ooh, also back up your phone before you leave. I know this is something that automatically is done on your phones, periodic basis, but just make sure before you leave, take off, that your phone is fully packed up just in case anything is to happen. Because again, once you're overseas, you don't want to waste data on doing those lengthy backups, which here are just like, 1, 2, 3 seconds, but data costs a lot more money outside of the US. Back it up before you leave, just in case. And yeah, enjoy. These are more so softball ones. Nobody knows all, of course, but maintain awareness while you're within relaxation mode. I know I keep reiterating in every almost episode, even the daily reviews and everything, just to remain vigilant. It's not mean you're getting ready for war in or anything. Just be aware of your surroundings, especially because you are outside of your norm. Obviously, still enjoy yourself, but still maintain your wits about you so you are not just out here floating. Eat something you can't get at home, typically. Now, when I say that, I mean don't just opt for McDonald's because it's familiar. If it's convenient, by all means, go ahead. If it's the only thing that's left open, like after a late night or whatever, go ahead. If that's even an option in the country you're visiting, because it might not be. Not even that you have to avoid chains fully, just opt for things that you won't be able to pick up as easy at home. Even if you could pick up something that is of that recipe. Maybe something that the country is known for or the city that you're visiting is known for. Just cultural foods and experiences. It's another way to make memorable experiences for yourself. Aside from like, the visuals and seeing things and taking pictures and everything else. Just eat something you can't get at home. And I'm not saying to try everything because I know for me, I'm not like about to. I can't even give an example, but yeah. Everything is going to be like, yeah, I'm going to do that within your, boundaries. Place your mail at home on hold. Make sure you're not getting any packages or anything delivered. Just put a hold on your mail. It takes literally 5 seconds online. You don't even have to go to the post office to do so. Fill out the form. Here's when I'm leaving. Here's when I'll be back. They will bring your mail to you. Or if it's like a bunch, they'll have you come pick it up. But yeah, simple process. That way you don't have anything piling up looking like your house is abandoned and ripe for the picking. I feel like I'm preparing you for like a horror movie or something, but it all depends. This is all dependent on like so many factors of how long you're going to be gone and all the rest of that. If people are still in your residence, a lot of these may or may not apply. You know what? I lied. This might be the biggest one for me, actually. Probably my favorite on the list, I'll say. Clean before you leave. Spread your bed, scrub your bathroom. Yeah. You literally know all of that, but it can make a huge difference when you come home to cleanliness instead of chaos. Like, imagine just ending a trip and you get home. Of course, you're already worried about when am I going to unpack this bag? So that's already in mind. Of course, you're going to dig through the pilfer for whatever souvenirs and things you may have picked up for people, but some people don't unpack their bags right away. Could be days, weeks, months, or even up until your next trip. So, one less thing to literally worry about is cleaning your house. You come home, you relax, basically wash the travel off of you, and you're not really feeling rushed or like, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta clean the kitchen. Like, no, the house is already clean. You can go to bed now, basically. You're welcome. For the people that didn't think of that, of course. For the ones that already practiced this, you're already here with me. But that about wraps up the list for international travel. Feel like if you coalesce these along with the domestic travel tips, you'll be on your way to easy travel, expedient travel, optimized travel, because we are not wasting any time, ours or anybody else's. As a special bonus, top 5 items for travel will be featured on the blog. You can access that at verbalvibemode.com/go-away. Relevant links will be provided below in the description, of course, as per usual. If you feel like I missed anything, or if there's a tip that you also would like to put me onto that I don't know about yet, feel free to leave a comment using the Spotify app in the discussion section specifically. Answer the Q&A while you are there. If you would like to leave a voice message, you can do that on the Anchor app. The link is also provided in the description box. And for the biggest tip of all, safe journey. See you next week.